Nobody expected us to have Mark Cuban on that show. But of course, I guess predictably, Mark Cuban began to gloat about the strategic brilliance with which those Mavericks had done a number on LeBron James in the 2011 finals of the previous year, when the Mavericks had won, as you might remember, in 6 after Miami had gone up 2-1. And though I tried to restrain myself, I couldn't really help myself. I had to defend myself a bit. And I told Cuban that the Miami collapse had nothing to do with game plans and everything to do with LeBron's epic meltdown in games 4, 5, and 6. He started giving me this inside basketball hocus pocus about what defenses had been deployed against LeBron, started to attack me, saying I knew nothing about the Mavericks' X's and O's and ultimately nothing about basketball. And I did not want to pour any gasoline on Mark Cuban's fire because I'd already heard enough of Mark Cuban. Last thing I wanted to do was to engage and go ballistic with Mark Cuban. Here I was. Think of the position I was suddenly thrust in. And this is all working in my deepest subconscious. Here I'm perceived as LeBron's biggest critic, and now I'm bashing LeBron the morning after he wins his first ring, provoked by Mark Cuban. I actually had both hands tied behind my back. It reminded me a little bit of the Richard Sherman episode that I have discussed in detail on this show. I just really couldn't fight back because I didn't want to fight back, because the clock was ticking. Nobody wanted to hear about how the Mavericks had coached rings around LeBron James. They just wanted to hear about the ring that LeBron had just won. So, of course, when the show ended, or I guess while it was happening, the internet burned me to the ground. Mark Cuban had made me look foolish. Mark Cuban had exposed me. Mark Cuban had body bagged me on TV, or so it went on and on. And as you know about me, I don't care what the internet says. I just know what I know. What else is new with me and the internet? I'm sure Mark Cuban celebrated that night in ways, the same ways that he had celebrated in Miami the year before after they won in 6 games against the Heatles. And I didn't care. All I know was we got back to doing the show that we wanted to do. And all I know was that I made it clear. I put out all kinds of feelers. I left it as an open invitation to Mark Cuban to come back on First Take. I've done it repeatedly on Undisputed here on FS1. Anywhere, anytime, come back on and let's go at it. Let's talk X and O basketball, because I'll talk it with anybody, starting with Mark Cuban, but that was not the time or the place. I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.